2014-2015 NBA season came to a close last week as the Warriors won the NBA Finals. But don't get too sad though. The door for the 2015-2016 season will be opening up Thursday at 8 for this year's NBA Draft. The top college players in the country will come together at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn and find out which team they'll be joining to begin their illustrious basketball career. This is a very deep draft class, and there's a lot of players who can make a great contribution to whatever team drafts them. So what I'm going to talk about for this show is what the teams with the top 5 picks should do with their picks. The Minnesota Timberwolves have the honor of this year's #1 overall pick, and then to round out the top 5, the Lakers have the 2nd, the Sixers are 3rd, the Knicks are at 4, and the Orlando Magic have the 5th pick. Let's start with the #1 overall pick, the Minnesota Timberwolves. They have to make a choice between the two coveted big men, Karl Anthony Towns or Jahlil Okafor. Between these two big men, I think the player who has a greater upside to becoming a great all-around player in the NBA is Karl Anthony Towns. His offensive game might not be as polished as Okafor's, but he can still score with both hands at the hoop and he has a decent jump shot. But where Towns has a greater upside over Okafor is that he's much more effective on defense. Karl knows his assignments on defense, he forces the opposition to alter their shots, and he's a great shot blocker. Plus, he doesn't have trouble shooting free throws. I'll be shocked if Towns isn't taken #1. Now we go to 2nd to the Lakers. LA needs size down low, and they're probably going to take the next best available big man, and I'm assuming it's going to be Jahlil Okafor. But this could be a very risky pick for the Lakers, and here's why. Okafor is a very talented offensive player, but I'm concerned about everything else. He's not that great of an athlete, he can't really move laterally, and he's not a good defender. To be a great player in the NBA, you have to play both sides of the ball well. And at this stage in Jahlil's basketball life, you can't teach defense. You need to have the willingness to play defense. And I've never seen Jahlil Okafor have that willingness to play defense. This dude can be a superstar in the NBA if he learns how to play great defense. But if not, he's going to have a very short career. Then we go to the Sixers with the 3rd pick. They'd be crazy to not take D'Angelo Russell. First, let's look at his physicality. For a point guard, he's a pretty big guy at 6'5", weighing 180 pounds, so he's got a size advantage over some of the guards in the NBA already. And he can do everything on a basketball court. Pass the ball, shoot the 3, drive to the basket, make free throws, and for a point guard, he's a very good rebounder. If the Sixers ever want to become contenders again, they have to have this guy on their roster. Now this could be the most interesting pick in the NBA draft, the New York Knicks at the #4 spot. Mock drafters are saying the Knicks should take one of 2 overseas players, Emmanuel Mudiay or Kristaps Porzingis. Now, there have been some good players to come from overseas, Dirk, Yao Ming, the Gasol brothers, and a handful of others, but there's also been some serious busts, like Andrea Bargnani and Darko Milicic. Watching tape of Mudiay, he looks like a good player and he's got some skills, but the competition that he was going up against in China doesn't look anything like the competition he's going to go up against in the NBA. And looking at this dude Porzingis play, I think he's going to get tossed around like a rag doll going up against the NBA players. They need a guy who has the skill set and the willingness to play in the triangle offense. And I don't think those 2 players are going to be able to play in the triangle. The player Phil Jackson should be looking at is Justice Winslow. He is a great player and he shouldn't have a problem fitting into this triangle offense. Plus, he can help the Knicks where they were weak last season, which was rebounding the basketball and defending the 3-pointer. And to round out the top 5, we have the Orlando Magic with the 5th pick. They're probably going to lose Tobias Harris in free agency this summer, so they'll need a big presence down low to fill his absence. Their best option would have to be Willie Cauley-Stein. He's not great offensively, but he is a great defender. He's athletic enough where he could guard anyone on the floor. Looking at Orlando's depth chart, they do not need any more scorers. They need a big guy in the middle who can clog up the lane and alter shots, and Willie Cauley-Stein fits that role perfectly. And there you have it, what I think should happen with the first 5 picks in this year's NBA draft. Can this day get here any quicker?